Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I thought I would show you my initial thoughts for my 2024 lineup. So I reserve the right always to make changes to my lineup. I tend to put together my lineup month by month, and so even sometimes within the same year, I might do a mid-month or a switch up for the next month. So I always reserve the right to change my mind. It's not where I'm committing to this lineup for the entire year of 2024, but it's also early enough that I have the space and the time and the energy to kind of sit down and really think about what I need. And so I just think it's a good time to start talking about my 2024 lineup because that way I won't feel like I'm scrambling when 2024 rolls around. So with that being said, I'm really just going to call this my version 1, my September version of my 2024 lineup, again with the caveat that I might change my mind even just in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months. And I wanted to be able to show you everything that I've got. It is a little bit messy. There's there's some order to it, but mostly it's just kind of all the pieces that I've collected and just left on my desk for the past 2 weeks. And so I wanted to record this video so that way I can clear off my desk, one, but also, so that way I can start fine tuning it and seeing if I want to make some changes. So with that very long intro out of the way, I'll try my best to kind of turn it on its side and show you everything. And then we're going to flip through it and kind of talk to you about everything. So let me do it like this. It's a very large stack. So this is, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planners on big discs, expander discs and big covers. And then I have these 2 planners, and then there are 2 more planners here that are not on discs or covers yet, and then a smaller planner. And so I am going to move everything to the side at this point, and then start from the unbound stuff and kind of move through things as I need to. So I'm actually going to talk about this kind of towards the middle. So we'll put that there, and hopefully nothing falls over. Okay, I have got a giant pile of planners next to me, but let's start here just because this, to me, is the heart of how I got into the Happy Planner, and I wanted to talk about it specifically as like its own category, I guess, of planning. So for me, one of the major needs that I have, and one of the reasons I got into the Happy Planner is because I started a memory book for my daughter, Sophia. And so Sophia is actually in 2024 going to be turning 7. So I've kept basically 8 years of Happy Planners for her. I love the Happy Planner for being able to do memory keeping with her. This year, 2023, I'm a little bit behind, but I am going to definitely catch up, try to put together her memory book, and just kind of stay on top of it. And so that's one of the things that I need to consider in 2024 is how to keep up with the memory keeping version of it, and be able to stay on top of it. And one of the reasons, or one of the things that I think will work the best, is to move back into vertical. So I was in 2023 for Sophia using a horizontal, which to me, it did work, but I felt like there was a lot of journaling that I had to do, and so I was not able to put as many photos in. And so for me as a memory keeper, if I could stick a photo in and take up an entire box of a vertical layout, then I feel less overwhelmed with going in and journaling about it. It just fills up more space, is what I think. So I've got these 2. They're both, as you can see here, just kind of unbound. I haven't put them on discs or covers yet. I do need to do that. That's the goal, obviously, before 2024 starts. But for Sophia's memory book, I actually, because she's old enough, I actually let her pick her planner, and so this is the one that she picked. It's one that is mostly able to be used for 2024. The only thing that I would have to redate is January and February, and so I'll put this note on here so that way I know that I need to go in and redate January and February. But starting in March, this is a 2019 planner, and this 2019 planner starting in March corresponds perfectly with 2024. So with that being said, I basically gave her these 2 options, this one and this one, and she likes to look at dividers, and so she really wanted these really cute dividers with like the sprinkles and the it's just like a celebration vibe, and so she picked this planner. And so the planner itself is fairly colorful, and I don't know why these pages are mixed up. I'm not sure why they're mixed up, but it must be the divider itself. But I am showing you here like the vertical layout. It's very colorful. And Sophia wasn't a huge fan of the numbers, but I told her, you know, like it's going to be where it's going to be photos and journaling. And so she's fine with it. She hardly ever looks at the weeklies. She just wants her planner to be cute with the dividers. And then this is the currently page, which I love filling out for Sophia. And so I'm excited about going back into something where it actually has the currently prompts on the planner itself. And so that is for Sophia. And then I do have my daughter Rose, who is going to be 1 in 2024. And so for her, she just got whatever was left over. This planner is actually, to me, a lot cuter, but it is the 2024, like a 2019 that I'm going to be using starting in March. And it will just correspond perfectly, and I have to again go in and redate February. But this is what it looks like. I actually used this to talk about, I'm not quite sure. Oh, to do the comparison of like the evolution of the Happy Planner. So I did a flip through of this recently on my channel. But it has all these design elements. And again, same thing for Rose. She obviously is not going to care as much. But this is the seasonal planner. And I love seasonal planners for Sophia when she was 1 and like when she was a newborn, like a baby. And then I think when she was 1 as well as when she was 2, I selected seasonal planners for her. And so seasonal Happy Planners were basically how I got into happy planning, and memory keeping in particular. Seasonal memory keeping was how I got into happy planner. So I'm glad to basically go back to that for 2024 for my 2 girls, or I should say for at least one of my girls. And then, you know, Sophia picked her own thing, but I am going to be moving into vertical layout for both of them. So that way, as I mentioned earlier, it will be less overwhelmed for me. So that way I can keep up with it, I think, a little bit easier. That's my goal at least. So one of the big differences that I make with happy planning or just planning in general is that for me, I like to kind of split it up into 3 major categories. So the first category is memory keeping, which is to me journaling, writing, and planning for the past. So I feel like it's kind of like misleading to call it planning when you're like you're back planning or you're writing about things that has already happened. But to me, that's the first category is memory keeping. So I just really talked about my memory keeping system for my 2 girls. For the other 2 categories, I like to break them up into journaling, which is kind of planning or writing about what's happening in the current moment, as well as future planning, which is what we typically think of as like actual planning, like writing things down for the future. So for the sake of the rest of my system, I basically am going to be talking about the current like journaling type stuff, and the future planning type category as like kind of interchangeable terms. But I do like to have both current journaling type stuff and future oriented planning type stuff for the rest of my system. And so hopefully that makes sense. I did try to explain this in a video a while back on my channel, but it was kind of buried in with a bunch of other videos. But if you would like to watch that video, I can definitely link it. I'll talk a lot about like overwhelm and how to kind of overcome some of the emotions that you have related to planning, and split it up into those 3 different categories. So anyway, that's just kind of my plug for like a very old video that I'm not even sure I can find now. But what I have right here is what I'm going to use for my 2024 planner. And this is going to be my personal planner. So the very top here is my pre-planner. This is where I actually write in videos in advance. So right now we're in September, but I've got events in here for November. I've got events in here for December. I've also got my plans in here for 2024. I've written all of these things down. I don't have any for the second half of 2024, but those events are in here. And so this is where I just put pen to paper. I just write down all of the things that I need to write in. I have a dental cleaning appointment right there. So I just write in all the future events. So to me, this is my actual like planner, like the technical planning in advance, all the future things. That's where this stuff, that's what this planner does for me, is just to be able to pre-plan and write down all future events. And so I do plan to use this actual planner, the Simply Layout planner, which is current until June of 2024, and then the second half is actually going to be outdated. It will be the July through December 2023, and so I will need to redate that and use that for the second half of 2024. So half of it will be current the first 6 months, and then the second 6 months will be redated. Now, with that being said, I also like to have a planner that is more in the moment, like what I need from week to week to be able to journal, to be able to kind of write down to-do lists and all of those things. And so I have already redated this Faith Warrior planner to be able to serve as my catch-all. Now I know it's going to be like faith themed, but I'm totally okay with that for the purposes of like just having a catch-all. But this Faith Warrior planner is beautiful. Again, it's a 2019 planner, and so March onward is like the correct date, but I did have to go in, and I've already done this for this planner, and redated January and February. So what I did is, in a previous video, I showed you how I did this, but I made copies of dates later on in the year and just kind of printed it out on sticker paper and just stuck them on there. I think you can kind of see it on video, but like you can see the numbers underneath, but I just used like white sticker paper and just stickered right over it. And so that helps for me to be able to keep the same like consistent font for the entire year. But my thought is I would be able to, with this planner, kind of track like big events here. I am totally fine with just ignoring the scripture reading plan keywords right here. I'll put like big events priorities right here. And these two sections I think I'm going to use as like major task lists. So instead of having it be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and just like, having the two columns like that, what I want to do instead is have a section, and this entire section, all three boxes, will be a just like a to-do list for the same category, a to-do list for the same category, and then a to-do list for the same category, a to-do list for the same category. And of course, this one has three, these two have 4 boxes. So I'll put on this side the categories that have more tasks. And then this part will just kind of serve as an overview of like what's happening each day. So this will stay day specific, but these will be more so like the tasks for the entire week. And I can just kind of check off as I complete tasks, and I don't have to worry about making it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and moving tasks across each day. I can just look at it for the entire week. And then once the week is over, move it to the next week. So that's kind of my thought here. I think I will keep this as a prayer list. I'm not sure. Sometimes I like to flip through. Actually, I do love to flip through my pins like after the pin spreads. And so I don't know if I want to leave it here or if I want to cover this up. I might just write it and then just put a Post-it note over it to cover it up. But then between each week, this is one of the fun things about the Faith Warrior planner. It has this page that's basically sermon notes and study notes. I think I'm going to use this to do my journaling at church every Sunday. So that's my goal here. But then here it has like this kind of like habit tracker, which I really love. And then this is like kind of to me, a journaling spot. That's how I'm going to use it at least. I'm going to put like any loving well this week notes that I have related to God, to others, and to me. So it's kind of like a journaling for the week on these 3 topics. So I really love that. Then here there's blessings this week, and then a grateful for this week. So I love that. It's just a chance for me to journal. This one's going to be specific to Sunday and the things I'm doing Sunday. This section might be, I don't know if I'll use it for Sunday or like more so like a weekly summary of what I've been studying. But then here, this is going to be lots of journaling. And then right here is going to be a habit tracker. So I'm excited about that. I had to go grab something else because it might be where some weeks I might just have more things I want to kind of fill in. I have already started doing this, kind of dating this daily on 2 pages for my use in 2024. And so I'll be able to carry over, take even more faith notes, journaling, break down like days into more specific hours. And so again, like let me flip back a little bit. Here I'm kind of putting together or like writing out like major events, but if I have multiple events and I need the space to kind of like break it down by the hour, these are the sheets that I'm going to be using for that. And what I think I would do is basically just put them right in here in between the weeks, and it will just kind of sit in there between the weeks. And so I'm excited about that, to be able to have my daily and my weekly pages together. That this will obviously be a planner that I eventually kind of break down because it's going to get very, very full. And so I'll need to probably move it to expander discs or something else, or break it out into like multiple different, like a quarter 1, a quarter 2, quarter 3 planner. But we will see as we move into 2024. But I think my goal is to combine my daily pages, which actually live in here. I just kind of pulled it out. with like this whole setup. And so this setup will include my weekly and my daily pages. It will include my general like kind of catch-all type notes to myself for my personal life, my task list, and also include my faith journaling. And so that's kind of my goal. I want to be able to kind of prioritize. I keep saying this, but I really want to prioritize my faith life. And so having the space here already built in for me to use, I'm excited about that. And I love having the color because I don't feel the need to decorate if I don't have the time to do so. It's already decorated for me. And so this is the combination here, and I'll put those like that together. And so this is my daily planner right now. Once I finish out these pages, I'll just show you what I'm using now. I'm using these kind of tulle letter size pages, but I am finished with these pages kind of like towards the middle of December. And so I already kind of showed you what I'm going to be moving to are these pages. And in fact, I think depending on whether in December I run out of pages or not, I might use some of those classic size pages I just showed you for 2023 as well. All right, so that is the beginnings of my personal planner setup. Okay, I also wanted to show you this just because I kind of started talking about this as a blend with my catch-all planner, but this is my setup right now for my faith journaling for 2023. I have all of these like pages in here that I have not yet used, and so these I do want to at some point again combine with my catch-all. One of the things that I definitely want to be able to do is this scripture writing plan. This is from christianbook.com, I think, but it has just a scripture writing plan for each month, and so I printed it out and I put it in here. And so I want to try to learn how to hand letter and just sit and meditate, and so these are just verses that I'm going to be writing out and trying to hand letter parts of the verse. So that is in here, and then I have my coloring book. And so this one is Genesis, but I also have the Psalms and Proverbs. So I want to try to do a study in 2024 through Psalms and Proverbs in particular, just trying to like break down and verse map and do just more meditation on those two books. I will, again, I think try to read through the Bible in an entire year, but I'm going to focus my journaling on Psalms and Proverbs. So this is here. This I'm going to probably leave like this and just pull in the pieces that I do end up using every week into my catch-all and faith setup that I just showed you with the Faith Warrior Planner. And so this will live separately until I use pieces from it. And then if I use it, then it goes into my catch-all. So that is honorable mention. We're getting towards the end here. I have four more. And so I'm going to start right here. This cute little thing is a micro planner that I purchased from Temu. This one, I did purchase a 2023 version and I loved it so much. It was so cute and tiny that I wanted to pick one up for 2024. And so I've got this 2024 planner. It's set up, as you can see here, like a weekly. And I think that I mentioned this with the 2023 one. I wasn't really sure what to do with the 2023 one. I just thought it was cute to decorate. And so what I think I'm going to do for this one is use it for my budget tracking. And so I'm just going to be logging expenses in here. I do have an entire like budget setup that I will try to remember to link the video for that. But that budget will be the more like I do once a month kind of plan. And then I'm going to skip the weekly pages where you actually do the logging, and I'll log here. So instead of using the pages for the budgeting and the logging, I'll use this for logging, and I'll use the budget planner to just do my once a month budgeting. And so again, I'll try to remember to link that video so you kind of see the flip through of that budget planner, but I want to use that in combination with this one, and I'm excited about that. All right, so this one is my social media planner. I kind of started setting this up for 2023. It's got like right now just like a bunch of like random, I don't know, like there's Wall University notes and all sorts of stuff in here. And so it's really just a hodgepodge of like, as I was cleaning out my space, I found all of these social media notes in my space. I'm not sure if I want to keep a separate social media planner. This is like right now, just being totally honest, I'm still kind of iffy on whether I want to separate it or not. I think that with the Faith Warrior Planner and having basically a week over 4 pages plus adding in daily pages, I don't necessarily need a separate planner that serves as a separate I don't know. I just don't know if I need it separately. I could have one of those kind of task sections that I showed you on the weekly page for the Faith Warrior be for social media specifically. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. I don't know if I want a separate social media planner, but I did have all of these notes that I had found in my space and wanted to kind of put it together. And I do want this as like the physical reminder that I do need to track my social media at some point. So, but I think for right now, I'm going to maybe pick one of the boxes in the Faith Warrior weekly page to be for social media. So it would be like, I think maybe one of these boxes, one of these boxes, one of these 4 boxes would be for social media. So that I think that's what I'm going to do for social media. Again, all of this is subject to change. I can change my mind at any point. It's still me just fine tuning it. Talking out loud really helps. So if you're able to do that, I feel like it's really beneficial to just sit and talk it out loud. This is my food log. Now, I do love food logging, and so I think that I am going to keep food logs separately. I just don't want those types of like journaling type notes to be in my daily planner or my weekly planner. I just feel like, once I eat something, I want to know what I ate just in case of like health issues. I've started to have a lot more like just headaches and migraines and things like that. So I want to be able to track my food to maybe recognize some of the patterns. But I don't necessarily want it to be in my planner permanently and, be mixed in with like all of the things that I have to do. So, I think that makes sense. But so I've already set up this planner with like all of these pages that I've had in my stash for forever. These are all like outdated teacher layout pages. They're the big size. And I think that I'm going to just every month redate it so that way I can use it. Like this one is like for August, but clearly August is not that early on in the year, but I'm just going to every week redate these pages. I have even before these big pages, I also have some classic size pages that I can redate. So I'm just going to be redating and using these pages to track my food. And what I think I'm going to do is just track the food down here. I was initially considering getting the meal planner layout, the one that was released for 2024, but I've got something similar enough that I could track it here. And I would do any food planning, meal planning, grocery shop type stuff in my catch-all, but here I'm just tracking my food, and that's the only thing that this serves for, is just to track the food. And so that's my goal. I think, again, I'm going to keep this separate. Subject to change, but I'm going to keep it separate for right now. Okay, and then last but not least is my work planner. I've actually really loved this setup. It's like such a hodgepodge of everything, and it's really, really messy right now. But for 2024, let me get to it. For 2024, I put in here the Celestial Elegance planner. It's actually somewhere back here, somewhere in here. Oh, actually, no, I didn't put it in here. All right, it's right here. So for 2024, I have this big dashboard layout. This is actually a current planner. And so this planner is a dashboard, like a big dashboard layout. And I'm going to use this for my full-time job. My plan is to be able just to write down all the events on this side, all the things I need to do, and keep it very functional. I can obviously decorate. I have plenty of stickers to be able to do that, but I'm going to use that for my full-time job. And then I also have in here, it says November, but it's for January. But I have in here a classic size that I've already started, as you can see here, I've already started kind of like writing it out so that way I can redate it. And I've already redated the weeklies here. And what I'm going to do is use these pages for my part-time job. And so what I want to be able to do is just track the classes that I'm teaching and just making sure that I log my hours and keep on top of like what I'm doing for my part-time job, so that way I don't lose any tasks. And so for the monthly here, I do use the monthly to track my work hours. And so again, for my part-time job, I really want to be able to track what I'm doing specifically for them. I also like to track that for my full-time job. And so I'm assuming I'll do a very similar setup here where I track my work hours on the monthly and to track my hours here on the monthly here for my part-time job. And then I'll just kind of split it. For part-time work, I'll put it here, just use a box for my part-time job for each class. And then for the dashboard layout, I'll use that to track all the meetings and all the things for the full-time job. So that is what I am thinking It's a lot. It's a lot. But I do actually really love separating my planners into different planners, or like different areas of my life into different planners. And so that to me helps me categorize and compartmentalize everything that I'm doing in my life. If that doesn't work for you, obviously it's something that you have to consider for yourself, whether that works for you or not. If you're the type of person who just wants one planner and having multiple planners is overwhelming to you, then do one planner. I think it's totally appropriate and absolutely fine to do that. Sometimes I get into a season of life where I only want one planner myself. But starting off the year, I like to try to separate everything and keep everything compartmentalized, and that just helps me. But with all that being said, I feel like I do have a giant stack, probably way more than most people have. But as you can see, I do like to keep it very, very compartmentalized. And so for that reason, I have all of these planners, right? I have two more to put on here. Right here. And so yeah, that's it. It was kind of a longer video. I did want to try to explain everything that was happening with my 2024 lineup. Again, subject to change. This is the September version of my lineup, but I hope this video was informative, that it was helpful to you. Feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions about my lineup. Let me know if you're just kind of wondering how I am able to do all that. Maybe sometimes I wonder that myself. I don't know if I can answer that question for you, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video. Bye guys.